Hey everybody, this is HD. It's time for the next game in the HD World Tournament, and today I will be doing this as a solo cast. It is going to be between Strelok and TLO, and it's going to be a Terran versus Terran Duke Out Brawl Fest here on, what is this map? Tal'Darim Altar. That's right, that is the first map in my tournament, and unfortunately this time around I am going to be a loner boner. No one wanted to cast with me, so I guess I'll be casting by myself today, and it will be once again on this epic map. This is a very big map, as you guys can see. Super huge. 4 Xel'Naga watchtowers in the center of the map. I'm also using the new replay interface to show you guys the awesome new functionality. We have Control N, which brings up that thing, and we also have, I think, Control R, which brings up that, and we also have APM, and it's kind of like a tug of war in the center as well. So very cool. And yeah, this is going to be the first game, round of 16, best of 3. And obviously both these players are very good. Strelok, an extremely accomplished Terran player, haven't really been casting too many games of him. And the very well-known Liquid TLO, also known as the Little One. All you guys know who TLO is. He is one of the most famous players, and whoa, what is his SCVs doing? I guess TLO, I don't know what his SCVs decided to do right there, but a little bit of a misclick right there. And I have to say that the Little One really is a favorite to win almost every single time. Whenever I watch this guy play, especially in public settings, the crowd goes wild. I mean, people are cheering for him, the girls are dropping their pants down, the guys are dropping their pants down, people are just going crazy. And I mean, the Little One he's just like a baller like that. So he's a very good player. Let's see how he does this game. It looks like he will be throwing down an early command center before the barracks. Wow, this is very similar to that build that Pain User did, except this time around it's a Terran versus Terran and not a Terran versus Zerg. And on top of that, this is a very wide open map. So I think this strategy will work quite nicely for the Little One. We can see that Strelok's SCV has actually gone scouting the wrong direction first, and that's really because this map is so big and it's a 4-player map. It's going to be difficult to scout your opponent early on. Strelok is actually going for gas first off of 1 refinery here, so we may be seeing some kind of an early factory going down for Strelok, and it's gonna basically be mech versus this early command center, and we'll see if the Little One can hold on. I would honestly expect to see TLO throw down a second barracks very soon. No, he's gonna be getting gas as well, so he's gonna try to gas up after this early economy, and the ball's in Strelok's court right now. He needs to make some kind of damage happen. He has now officially scouted out the early command center, and he sees that it is almost complete. So he's sending over 2 Marines over from his base all the way on the other side of the map, and he's gonna have to pump out a lot of forces, also throwing down a second refinery as his factory is coming down. So I think we're gonna be seeing an early bunker perhaps. No, the Little One already throwing down his own defensive bunker. So I don't think these Marines are going to be able to do much damage at all. And Strelok is just going to wait and try to muscle his way to victory with his factory units. But he's going to try to apply some pressure right here, right now. Maybe he's going to be able to kill off the SCV. Yes, he does. So the SCV going down. TLO will have to wait for another Marine and more forces to come out. Here we go. SCV is now coming off the line. And I think that is going to push Strelok's forces back. And, hey, that's weird. SCVs are actually a little bit faster than Marines are. I never noticed that. So I think they are. Movement speed 2.81 and Marines movement speed 2.25. So SCVs can actually surround a Marine. But hold that thought. We have a starport now coming down from Strelok. So he was throwing down the double refinery just to get that early starport out. And we're going to be seeing a quick Banshee coming out from Strelok. And TLO will have to get missile turrets up almost immediately. Does he have an engineering bay coming down? No, he doesn't. He only has more barracks and a factory, so I think he's going to rely on Comsat to scan the Banshees, and we can already see Cloak and the Banshee on the way from that starport. So Strelok going for a much less economy style game, but as you guys can see by that Harvester tab, TLO really doesn't have that much of an advantage, and now a Hellion has been allowed to sneak inside TLO's main. This is horrible. The Hellion's going to get a full scout off, and it may even kill off a couple of SCVs. It's already got 1 kill. TLO trying to bring that SCV to surround the Hellion, but unfortunately SCVs, while they may be faster than a Marine, they are definitely not faster than Hellions. SCVs using jetpacks and Hellions using wheels, but I guess the wheels are faster than the jetpack. The Hellion now may actually kill off an SCV that's producing a starport. Does not kill it off as it's trying to get away from the Marine. Finally falls to Marine gunfire. And we can see TLO has a very slight economic advantage, but it's not nearly as much as we thought it would be, considering the fact that he went for this double command center. And I think the reason for that is because TLO has not been producing SCVs as much as he has been. He's been trying to produce Marines, trying to get engineering bay up. He's trying to get all the defense he needs to hold off against the early pressure that will be coming from the ground and from the skies. And we now see Strelok coming in with that Banshee. How many kills can this Banshee get? It's already got one. Gonna follow that SCV Congo line as the Marines file out of the bunker to try to defend. And now the cloak goes down. And this is where that double command center really comes in handy. You don't actually need missile turrets if you have enough to scan. I can see TLO does have enough to scan on one of his orbitals. He will need to pick off this Banshee, and he cannot allow this cloaked harasser to stay alive inside the main. It's now got 4 SCV kills, make it 5, as a Viking pops out of the starport, but this Banshee is going to get an unprecedented 6th kill. Nah, it's gonna be 7 kills. TLO here trying to get that missile turret up. The Banshee has done so much damage, and finally the missile turret goes up. I'm surprised that TLO did not decide to scan. He could have scanned and the Viking could have warded away the Banshee much earlier, but as a result, TLO waiting for the missile turret. Instead, the Banshee gets 8 kills. The Viking looks like it will be able to pick it off thanks to that insanely long range from the Viking. So that Banshee, while it only costs, I believe, 250 minerals, 200 gas, somewhere around that level. No, 150, 100, so much lesser than I thought it was. It got 8 SCV kills, and that is huge. That was extremely worth it for Strelok. And now TLO, even though he went for that early command center, you guys can see that he still only has a 2 SCV lead. So it's certainly a close game right now. I would say Strelok did the damage he needed to do to even out the odds in this game. Now TLO is actually working down south towards this other expansion, which is guarded by the rocks. This map, very easy to grab multiple expansions, and this is kind of the new thing in StarCraft 2. Blizzard has been releasing more maps that feature huge, vast areas, more macro, more expansions, more areas to claim resources, and you guys can see that that's kind of changing the metagame style of StarCraft 2 now, as players are now focusing on getting more expansions, playing more towards the macro game. In this game, this Terran versus Terran at 10 minutes in has now basically shifted into the mid game. And I'm almost certain we're going to be seeing from TLO some kind of a biomech and maybe even some air combination of forces, and probably the same from Strelok. Maybe Strelok is going to focus a little bit more on bio though, and he also has a couple of tanks coming out. So Terran versus Terran, really, it's an interesting and a very dynamic matchup. It's one of the mirror matchups where you see almost every single unit being used, and it's extremely strategic. I've said this countless times. It's strategic because it's so micro-oriented, it's so terrain-oriented as well, with coming down to positioning of your forces as well as your siege tanks, and as well as coming down to your ability to control the skies. So it's extremely strategic, and really, it's anybody's game to take here. One thing I would like to see that TLO has really capitalized on and has really made famous is his nuclear play. He loves to use nuclear missiles in Terran versus Terran. And I mean, why not? It's a great spell. It only costs 100 gas, 100 minerals, and of course the expensive ghost, but it's extremely effective at forcing your opponent to reposition his forces. When in Terran versus Terran, it's so important to have perfect positioning. It's also great for defensive nuking as well as offensive nuking, which TLO does so well. But it looks like right now Strelok, getting back to this game, is going to be pushing out. He has 4 tanks, 3 dropships, and a large army of Marines. And Strelok's also throwing up an engineering bay out here right outside of TLO's natural expansion. And wow, TLO here realizing the threat. These tanks, very similar to Steps of War, while they can siege on the low ground, they're now able to siege the refinery, picking off the refinery. TLO using the Viking to pick off the dropship, and he is able to kill the dropship, but not before Marines get landed down, and the Marines will continue to provide high ground vision. Even with TLO killing off all the air with his Vikings, the Marines finally getting picked off. Only 1 Marine remaining, and the Marauder sacrificing himself, careening himself to fire that rocket-propelled grenade to kill off the Marine. And now Strelok has to use Comsat to get vision of the high ground unless he wants to lose this dropship right here. So really nice hold by TLO, only losing a refinery. The second refinery now gets picked off as it was being constructed as a dropship now, sacrificing itself, not able to, actually now another comms site getting thrown down to finish off that siege tank. So now Strelok finally running out of air. He will not be able to continue his attack on this high ground location, and TLO finally can breathe a sigh of relief, but not for long, as Strelok now coming in from the backside is going to try to hit this backside expansion. This is the early expo by TLO. TLO got this way before Strelok did, but Strelok may be able to do a lot of damage. No, will be forced back by TLO's Marines. Very nice work by TLO, as TLO has really set the pace for this game. He's been able to counter almost every single attack. He's been able to minimize his losses. The only thing that was really, really painful was that Banshee, and now we have a fusion core coming out. Whoa, what is TLO doing? He's going to be going for battle cruisers, I would assume, which has Strelok scanned it? Yes, he has. Strelok has scanned the fusion core. I'm sorry, I did not mention this earlier. It's like a big orange building just glowing right there, and I didn't even see it, but TLO is going to be going for battle cruisers, guys, and Strelok, I don't know if he's going to be prepared for this. I mean, Vikings are a great unit against battle cruisers. I'm not going to lie. I am hyping up the battle cruiser quite a bit, whereas the Viking is such a good counter to the BC. So I honestly don't know if this BC strategy is going to work by TLO. And hey, we have another attack. There's a very large force coming in here, and it looks like Strelok may have a slightly larger army size, about 10 supply larger, but he has to bust his way through the fortified bunker, which he does quite easily, and with a bunch of tanks in the background, this orbital command now in danger of going down. TLO may have to lift this off. Oh no, TLO building battle cruisers right now, guys, as you guys can see from the starport. So during that window, while TLO was trying to get BCs out, Strelok exploited that advantage. He saw the fusion core. He knew, all right, TLO is going to have a lot less tanks, a lot less Marines on the ground as he's trying to get battle cruisers up. Now is the time to attack, and Strelok makes a great attack. He wedges his way through that small window of opening, and he has forced the orbital command to lift off. But don't. TLO now building another orbital command, or a command center, down in the bottom right-hand location, as TLO also is trying to get some kind of a surround over these siege tanks. He's trying to bring his siege tanks around the top side here. Marines now stimming up to pick off the siege tanks. It looks like one siege tank will go down, and Strelok's attack will eventually, I believe, be cornered in from all directions here. There we go. TLO gonna siege up. Oh, that tank just a little bit too close. The tank will get picked off, but now that Strelok has vision with his battlecruiser, he will be able to siege up these tanks and take them out. But at the same time, Strelok coming in with a dropship here, dropping off Marines. It seems like these Marines have gotten all the SCVs. Look at these Marines. They have 6 kills, 4 kills, 3 kills, killed off a ton of SCVs inside the main. And now TLO, oh wow, he's in a lot of trouble, guys. Because I was gonna say, you know, TLO, he was able to hold off this attack. He lost some mining time, but he didn't lose any SCVs, so that's okay, as he's now got his battlecruisers out. But because that drop killed off so many SCVs, we can see now TLO is teetering on the edge of loss. He's got 44 harvesters under 64. Strelok has now been able to amass a large army of Vikings, and TLO will have to break this right here, right now. Does he have enough forces? It's gonna come down to these very thick and heavy battle cruisers, but there's so many Vikings in the air. The Vikings have to be picked off. All the Marines have been blasted away by the battle cruiser, but with 3 Vikings remaining, I don't know if TLO's got enough to hold on to this. He may be able to win the battle, but can he win the war? He's lost so many SCVs, guys. 46 under 64. The Marines now killing off the engineering bay. And wow, one thing that's sure to kind of tell the story of this game and set the tone is how and where the action has occurred all throughout this game. The battles have always occurred right in front of TLO's base. I have not seen an attack occur at Strelok's expansions or at Strelok's main this entire game. And that really goes to show, you know, kind of like in World War II, America was never bombed. We never lost any of the factories or any of our facilities in World War II. And so after World War II, America was the greatest and one of the most greatest superpowers in the world, along with the Soviet Union, of course. But it kind of goes to show that, hey, Strelok has not been attacked all game, and he has basically gotten a much larger advantage in this game as a result. He's got the larger economy, he's got more army. If we pull up the Control A tab, we can see that Strelok has 108 army supply and 70 worker supply compared to TLO. So TLO is really, really low right now, and this is gonna be one last battle. TLO runs his Marines behind his tanks, and as a result, all of his tanks get taken down, and wow, Strelok is going to force a GG out of TLO, the little one losing the first game. We can see that TLO was actually trying to get more expansions up, trying to drop down mules to get his economy back up and running, but Strelok was just always at it, constantly attacking TLO. And while TLO did a good job defending, eventually, I think what really did him in was a constant harass and that massive Marine drop right behind this orbital command. In fact, I just want to go ahead and rewind this video and see if I can't find that attack, because that was really, really a great drop. I just want to see how many SCVs went down as a result. The SCVs are busy like little bees right here. But I do believe the drop came in from a direction somewhere over... let's see, where was the drop from? Here we go. So this was the major attack, and eventually at some point there was a dropship that came in right into TLO's mineral line. And I really want to see that drop. There we go. There's the dropship. So it looks like, I think this was the point right here where Strelok was able to win the game. Look at how many SCVs Strelok killed, and TLO never even realized. In fact, if we go to TLO's player view camera, he was so focused, and finally he comes back over to his main and he realizes, holy crap, all my SCVs, where have they gone? So, alright, TLO losing the first game in the HD World Tournament versus Strelok. It is a best of 3, however, guys, so don't go away yet. It is going to be there is going to be a second game coming out next, and TLO still has a chance to advance forward to the round of 8. Let's move on to game number 2. HD signing out.